Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga,
Yati Singha Gora Govinda Deshikavaram Satatam Namami. Hare Krishna. Uttama Adama Kichuna Bachila Jachi Adile Kola Kahe Premananda Hemana Gauranga Hridoya Dari Bola Vaja Gauranga Kaha Gauranga Laha Gaurangera Namare Bolo Vaja Gauranga Kaha Gauranga Laha Gaurangera Namare Tejana Gauranga Bhaje Se hoya mara prana re Tejana Gauranga Bhaje Se hoya mara Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Yasyaiva Padambuja Bhakti Labhya Prema Vidana Parama Pumata Tasmai Jagan Mangala Mangalaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Madgavirapi Gopala Sri Kriyat Kripaya Judi Tadaiva Sampaya Pitva Rishayustat Priya Janaha Shri Krishna Krishna Chaitanya Sasanatana Rupaka Gopala Raghunatha Apta Brajabala Bapahima Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I want to thank everyone very much for letting me come into your Sangha, because an assembly, association of devotees is an association of the heart. If it's just something of the mind or perhaps of the wallet, then it's not really an assembly of bhakti. An assembly of devotees means something very close and very intimate. Rupa Goswami, he says that Sadvidam Priti Lakshanam, that there's 6 things which are very, very important if we want to develop spontaneous, ecstatic love for Krishna. And one of those is Guyam Akyati Pritchati, that we should have intimate exchanges amongst the devotees. And we see in the case of Srila Prabhupada, he would speak many things to the devotees that he wouldn't speak sometimes to common people, because that's the nature of friendship. There should be something special that you have for your friend that you save just for that person. And so for the last 2 days, this is our 3rd day, we've been speaking something, a very confidential thing, which I've been offering There's some flower petals to the lotus feet of all the devotees in this assembly. I hope it brings you some pleasure and some happiness in heart. And this is a topic we've called the greed of the Lord, when we're trying to understand something about the mood, the inner mood of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami describes that there's both a Bahiranga Karan and an Antaranga Karan, an external purpose and an internal purpose behind the advent of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He describes Prema Rasa Niryasa Korite Asvadan Raga Marga Bhakti Loke Korite Pracharan Bolo Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Rasika Shikara Krishna Parama Karuna Ei Dui Hetu Hoite Ichara Udgama Bolo Hare Krishna Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had two purposes for coming. And generally in our society we emphasize one purpose. It's a very, very important purpose. And it's described here. Raga Marga Bhakti Loki Korite Pracharan. That he wanted to give this spontaneous path of devotion all over the world. He wanted to give Krishna Prem, which he gave through the medium of chanting the holy names. But dear devotees, there's also something underneath that. There's also something very, very esoteric, which we gave some introduction to yesterday. And that is Prema Rasa Niryasa Korite Asvadan. Asvadanam means to taste, to relish. Although Krishna, this Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, Rashika Shekara Krishna Parama Karuna. Although he's Rasika Shekhar, he's the crest jewel of all Rasiks, or all persons who relish. When we have art, three things are required for art. If you don't have all three things, art as a medium doesn't exist, it doesn't work. You have to have an artist, right? And you have to have the art. But even if you have a great artist and you have a fantastic piece of art, if you don't have a connoisseur, or in Sanskrit we'd say a rasik, someone who's a relisher of that art, it has no meaning. Sometimes we've seen wonderful performances of Odissi dance, and they're doing different mudras and different eye gestures and many, many subtle things. And the audience, sometimes they're watching it, if they're not educated, they think, oh, they're very nimble. They can really move their body in different ways. But they don't understand. There's a whole story going on. So, Krishna is the crest jewel of all these enjoyers. And he wants to enjoy, he wants to understand the nature of the love of Srimati Radharani. Tonight, I'd like to try to take all of you on a journey to a different place, a journey of consciousness. And before we begin, we'd like to start with a sankalpa. A sankalpa is something that's performed in practically every ritual, every ceremony in Vedic culture, and there's some rituals for it. But in the essence of it, a sankalpa means to make a vow, to make a determination, to state what is our purpose. And a sankalpa is very important. Unless we have a sankalpa, then what are we doing? We may just be wandering around all over the world with our mind here and there and everywhere. We should understand deeply what is our purpose. So the last 2 nights, I spoke something philosophical for the most part, laying down a foundation, because a foundation of the building in Krishna consciousness is Siddhanta. is firm philosophy. But we don't want to only have a foundation, we also want to build something on it. And that building is Leela, is some pastimes. This is also a kind of art. People today don't understand the purpose and meaning of art. Probably the most popular art form today is music. But how many people, does anyone here know where the word music comes from? Everybody likes music, but who knows where that word comes from? It appears in the Christian tradition when Moses met God on Mount Sinai and God spoke to him. Moses heard the voice of God. And what did God say to him? He said, Muzak, listen, Moses. And the voice of God was so beautiful that word, Muzak, became music. Because the voice of God is real music. Does anyone here, we have so many, I become confused sometimes when I see Indian-bodied devotees, and I'm coming and speaking to them, and I'm not really quite sure if I'm a Deshi or if I'm a Bideshi. I don't know. Maybe I'm kind of a Bideshi, or I don't know. It becomes confusing. For those of you who don't know, Deshi means a native person, especially an Indian person, and Bideshi means a foreigner. We have a publishing house, that's our service, in Jagannath Puri. And some years ago we had put out some advertisement. We were looking for a typist. And a few people came, we were interviewing them for the job. And there was one young man who we eventually hired. And I asked him, what's your name? And he's an Indian boy from Orissa. And he said, my name's Bideshi. And I was looking at him, well, what do you mean your name's Bideshi? How was that? And he said, well, he told me this story. He said, I was born in a small village. And when my mother started giving birth, there was some complications, so they had to take me to the hospital outside the village. And I was the first person in our village born outside the village, so they gave me this Daknam. Daknam means kind of a nickname. This Daknam of Bideshi. So, what is the name, the original name of India? Does anyone know? It should be a pretty simple question. What's that?
Bharat.
Bharat. Okay, next question. Simple question. What's the meaning of Bharat? Don't know? What's the meaning of Bharat? It's a pretty simple question. Devotees should know. Prabhuji? It's the name of a king. Mm-hmm. But Bharat also is a compound word. It's 3 words in one. Bharata. Bharat is the place of music. It means these 3 words. Bhav, Rag, and Tal. Bharata. That place which comprises these 3 elements is Bharat. And the most important element in music, the most important element in art is Bhav, is the mood. Because art by nature, I like to speak about art sometimes because in the material realm, the closest thing to bhakti is art. And they have many, many things in common. Art is meant to move the heart. Art is meant to take someone to another place, to another kind of consciousness. That's the purpose of art. That's also the purpose of bhakti. Art by nature must be intensely personal. You may be an expert painter, and you may copy the Mona Lisa exactly the way it was originally done. But you're not an artist. You're a craftsman. An artist means someone who has something original, because you can't imitate art, and you can't imitate bhakti. Bhakti also should not be imitated. Art should not be done for money. We become very disenchanted with people who just want to make money from their art. We consider they're not really an artist. They're just some commercial person. And similarly, bhakti. Some people, they do bhakti for money. That's not real bhakti. We don't appreciate that. If you have an institute of art, you may have 1,000 graduates. And out of 1,000 graduates, 998 may be expert craftsmen who can make circles and straight lines and faces and shadows and different things like that. But out of those 1,000 persons, you may have 2, maybe, who are actual artists. Manushanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye. Krishna also says in a similar way, out of thousands and thousands of persons who are pious people, you may find one Krishna Bhakta. It's a very, very rare thing. So, art in its original pure form, actually according to the book Bhakti Ratnakar, art originates in the Ras Leela, in Krishna's dance with the gopis. And you'll find all the different art forms there. Shriman Rasa Dasadambi Vamsi Vata Tatasita Karshan Veniswana Gopir Gopinata Sri Ishtranaha. It begins with rag. Rag means, roughly translated, melody. So ba-ra-ta. Bhav is the most important thing, the mood, the feeling. And even if you can't sing nice, even if you can't play a musical instrument nice, but if you have a deep mood, very deep mood in your heart, people will cry. The next thing is rag. Rag means two things. It means, you could say roughly, the melody, but it also means to attract the mind. And the third element is tal. Tal is the beat. And the tal also attracts and enchants the mind. So all these art forms began at Vamsivat in Vrindavan on the bank of the Jamuna when Krishna blew his flute. And he called for the gopis. That's rag. He was playing a raga, a melody on his flute. And the gopis were attracted and they came there. And according to Bhakti Ratnakar and Srila Prabhupada in one purport, that Ras Leela is the origin of all the different ragas and raginis, different types of melodies. It's the origin of all the different tals, all the different beats. It's the origin of all the different dance steps. In the beginning, Krishna was playing his flute, and then he goes there, and the gopis, they begin playing some music with him, and then becomes some dance. And at that time also, it's described that the gopis had decorated everything in a wonderful way with wonderful paintings. And there was wonderful foodstuffs which were cooked. There was wonderful costumes and painting on the face, different decorations and things. All the different arts were there. Until finally in the Ras Leela, Krishna left to hide himself. And the gopis became unmada, or mad in separation. And then came the final conclusion of all the arts, which Rupa Goswami describes as the culmination of all the arts, which is drama. And the gopis began in their madness to act out the pastimes of Krishna. So all of these arts are there originally in Vedic culture, and they're meant to help both the speaker and the audience to go into samadhi and to experience something deep. Drama is a very, very popular form of art in Orissa. And there's a story found in a book by Nabadas called Bhaktamala. This book is quoted by Bhaktivinoda Thakur and recommended reading by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta for those devotees who are beginning to study Bhakti Shastri. And in Bhaktamala it tells a story about Orissa, how there was one actor who, he was in a drama and he was playing the role of Lord Nrsingadev. And he really got in the mood. And when he saw the actor who was portraying Hiranyakashipu, this devotee who was playing Lord Nrsingadev became so furious. And he burst out from a column and he grabbed that actor who was playing Hiranyakashipu. He put him on his lap and and he actually pierced his abdomen with his hands and completely absorbed, we would say avesh, completely absorbed in the mood of Lord Nrsingadev, an unpleasant thing. He ripped out the intestines of that other actor and he died, just like Hiranyakashipu. It was quite gruesome. The police came and everything, but he wasn't even conscious when he did. He was just so absorbed. That's samadhi. And that's what art is meant to do. Drama is meant to take everyone to another place. And the same with devotional music. The same with devotional dance and all the different devotional arts. That same artist, the same actor, later on was in another drama. It was Ram Leela. And he was playing Dasarath Maharaj. And in Ram Leela, in Ramayana, Lord Ramachandra is banished to the forest, and he goes away. And then his father, Maharaj Dasarath, he dies in separation. And that actor portraying Dasarath, he became so absorbed in those feelings that when the actor who was playing Lord Ram left, the actor playing Dasarath, he fell down to the ground and he died. Well, that's drama. That's real art. We don't want that to happen tonight. Guru Prasad will be very upset with me. But for the last 2 nights, we've spoken something philosophical. And tonight, I'd like to share with you another type of experience, which I've heard and experienced something from my Guru Maharaj. And I also feel a little special about this because what I want to share with you is something I know that Niranjan Maharaj also heard from my Guru Maharaj. And it's a different kind of experience. It's not just exactly something philosophical, but it's a story which is meant to bring ourselves and our consciousness to another place. And it's something we'd like to offer as a humble offering to the devotees. Again, we'll start with a little philosophy, though. In the Vishnu Sahasranam and the Mahabharata, it's described, Sanyasa Krichchama Santo Nishta Shanti Parayana. It's a verse which describes how the Supreme Personality of Godhead is going to appear as a peaceful devotee, a sannyasi. Who is that sannyasi? That's Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Our acharyas have described it. And so the last few days we've been describing something of the greed of the Lord and how that culminated in his desire to understand the mood of Radharani, to repay his debt to her. We spoke yesterday. He had to understand that mood. He had to act on that mood. And to act on that mood, he had to become one-pointed like her. He had to give up his nature of being God and become a devotee. So he took sannyas. Now what is sannyas? In the 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, the 2nd verse, Krishna describes, he defines sannyas. Kamyanam kamanam nyasam sannyasam kavayo vidu. That sannyas kavayo vidu, wise persons, they know it means to give up all types of fruitive activities. But Krishna has no fruitive activities. He has no mundane activities. How then do we understand the sannyas of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? What is the necessity of the Lord taking sannyas? Parasara Muni and Vishnu Purana describes Aishvaryasya samagrasya viryasya yasasa shriya jnanavara gigaschaiva sanam bhaga itangana. He describes how the Supreme Personality of Godhead is full. He's full in 6 different opulences, 6 different types of opulence. Aishvarya, wealth, strength, beauty, knowledge. And one of those is Vairagya. He's completely detached by nature. So what is the necessity of his taking sannyas? So we spoke something about that yesterday in a philosophical way, and how Krishna has to repay his debt to the gopis, and especially in particular to Srimati Radharani. And to repay that debt, he has to take sannyas. So, with that as an introduction, I'd like to invite the devotees, request everyone to please come with us for some time and immerse your consciousness in a story. And to give a little foundation to the story, this is something very personal. In 1973, in October, my revered spiritual master, he wrote an interesting entry in his diary, which we translated into English from Maria. I'll read you what he said. By the mercy of Prabhu Gopal was their family deity that he grew up with. Gopal has been in the Gadaigiri family for almost 400 years. By the mercy of Prabhu Gopal, on the last 2 days, our Gita recitation program was finished here in my Ishtadev's, my worshipful deity, Gopal's temple. Prabhu Sri Gopal He's writing to Gopal now. Oh, you who are known as Premananda, as Prema Moya Purush, as Vrindavan Bihari, and as Radha Kant. That personality who's full of the ecstasy of prem, who's the personality of prem, of ecstatic love, who's Vrindavan Bihari, who's enjoying in the kunjas in Vrindavan, and is Radha Kant, the Lord of Radharani. By your mercy, this Gita program was finished with Ananda and prem, happiness and love. Prabhu, may your place be joyful. May prem and Ananda, love and bliss be distributed. May make me your servitor. Give me an opportunity to distribute that prem and Ananda. Don't cheat me. Because you are Antaryami Nath, the Lord of my heart. You know my desire, and I'm begging that from you. Please give me that prem and Ananda. Let me get it, and let me distribute it. And then the next day, he wrote another entry. Today there was a Mahotsav, a great festival. Prasadam was distributed, and Bala Gopal Leela, your childhood pastimes, were recited. Prabhu Gopal, for a long time I've had a desire to hear songs of Man Bhanjana Leela, stories of how Krishna breaks the sulkiness of Srimati Radharani. Prema Mohi Radharani had developed Abhiman, loving pride, and Krishna was experiencing intense viraha katara, pangs of separation, because Radha would not permit him to see her. Therefore, there was a need for Man Bhanjana. Today, by the mercy of Prabhu, it happened. Vrindavan Bihari Krishna became Radha Prema Bikari, a beggar. Excuse me. A beggar of Radharani's love. My Gopal, dressed up like a sannyasi to beg prema dana from Radharani. And Gauragovinda Maharishi prayed, O Prabhu Gopal, please make me a yogi, a sannyasi like that. I don't need anything, Prabhu. I'm not asking you for material opulence, respect, glory, or anything else. You may give all those things to my younger brother, Kripa Sindhu. Let him maintain your family and make me a sangsar vairagi yogi, a renunciate of family life. Let me beg that prema dana, that wealth of love of Godhead. Let me distribute prem and ananda. Let me serve you. Please shower this mercy on me, Prabhu. Please bless me with prem bhakti, ecstatic love for you. So, there's a story which comes from a series of songs which are traditionally known as Leela Kirtan in India, which have been passed down for hundreds of years in the Giri family. These are principally written by two poets. One's named Sri Chandan Das, and the other was Gyana Das. Both are very famous Pujavali Kirtaniyas in the book Padakalpataru and Gora Padatarangini, probably the two most famous Bengali songbooks, which contain the songs of the associates of Mahaprabhu and the devotees who appeared shortly after that time. These songs are in there. And we're going to tell this story, both the way my Guru Maharaj told it, but also a little mixed with some of those songs. These pastimes have also been described by Srila Prabhupada. In a lecture on nectar devotion in Bombay on the 10th of January 1973, Srila Prabhupada said, Krishna wants to be controlled by his mother, Yashoda Mohi. Krishna wants to be defeated by his friends. Krishna wants to be refused Radharani's darshan. When Radharani is angry, she refuses to allow Krishna to see her. She orders the Sakhis, don't allow Krishna to come here. Then Krishna flatters the Sakhis, kindly let me go. No, sir, you cannot go. And Prabhupada said, this is Krishna. So on one occasion, Krishna and Srimati Radharani were scheduled to meet in a kunj, in a private place, in the forest of Vrindavan near the bank of the Jamuna. They'd agreed on a particular time through their messengers. And Srimati Radharani had decorated for many, many hours along with her Sakhis the kunj there in a very, very wonderful way. And Krishna was very, very eager to go to meet with Srimati Radharani. And so that evening after Mother Yashoda put him to sleep, about 8 or 9 o'clock, Gopal went to sleep very nicely to the happiness of Mother Yashoda. And she left the room, and maybe a half an hour later, Krishna got up. And he came out very eagerly. He dressed himself to go to meet Srimati Radharani and the gopis. And as Krishna was walking down the path in the middle of the night, he met 2 gopis whose names were Saibya and her companion. And when Krishna saw them, they reminded him of Srimati Radharani. And Krishna became confused. And seeing Krishna confused like this, when Krishna thinks of Srimati Radharani, he loses it. Just like a young boy who's trying to do a test in school, but he sees a beautiful girl sitting next to him, and he can't think of the test. He just becomes stunned. So this is a perverted reflection of the spiritual world. And Krishna becomes confounded and confused by Srimati Radharani. And so those 2 Sakhis, they took Krishna to the kunj of that gopi who Rupa Goswami describes as Srimati Radharani's cousin, sister, whose name is Chandravali. And Chandravali, as the cousin sister of Radharani, looks a lot like Radharani. And when Krishna just sees her, he becomes stunned in ecstasy because it reminds him so much of Radharani. And so Krishna is sitting then in the kunj of Chandravali in a very submissive way. Meanwhile, Srimati Radharani is waiting and waiting and waiting. And Krishna's not coming. And Radharani, she inquires from her Priya Sakhi, Lalita, where is Shyam Sundar? Where is Krishna? Where is he gone? He should be here by now. And Lalita, she volunteered, hey Radhe, I'll go and I'll look for him. And so Lalita went all over the forest of Vrindavan and she didn't find Shyam Sundar anywhere. And finally she thought maybe I should go near the place known as Sakhistali, which is a place of Chandravali. And Lalita went there and she saw, she's looking through the leaves in the forest in a hidden way, and she sees Krishna sitting there with Chandravali. And Lalita becomes very upset. Lalita gets a little angry. So she took a Ketaki leaf. A Ketaki leaf is very, very thorny. And she wrote something on it. And she threw it in that kunj, and it landed in front of Krishna. And Krishna noticed, what is this leaf? And he picked it up. And suddenly the complexion of Krishna's face turned white. And he told Chandravali, there's a big problem. A demon is attacking Vrindavan. I have to go immediately. Please excuse me, I have to run. And Krishna left that place. And he went to the kunj of Srimati Radharani. And Krishna arrived there. And he was calling out, hey Radhe, please forgive me. I didn't wake up in time. The alarm didn't go off. And Srimati Radharani was sitting and she was very, very angry. Bhamya Bhava Shiromani. She's become the crest jewel of angry ladies. You think your wife gets angry. It's nothing like Srimati Radharani can do. And Srimati Radharani, she says, you have no shame? You come here, the sun's starting to come up now. I've been waiting here all night long for you. You have no shame. Look at you. What is that lipstick on your face? And Krishna said, it's a scratch. I was running through the forest trying to get here right away, and I got scratched on the face. I'm so sorry. And Radharani just shook her head. And she said, and what is that black marks of kajal? Ladies in Indian culture, they wear some black kajal around their eyes. What is that kajal smeared on your face? And Krishna, he said, I was sleeping too close to the candle. And I got some soot on my face. And Radharani, she said, you have no shame. You have been with another woman. At least you could have taken bath before you came to see me. You didn't even do that. Get out of here. Go away. And Krishna tried in so many ways to appease the anger of Srimati Radharani. But no matter how humble and sweet his words were, it simply made Radharani more and more angry. And Krishna left. He didn't know what to do. And Srimati Radharani, she went back to her home in Barsana, and she told her Sakhis that henceforth, I don't want to hear anything about Krishna. Anyone who says the name of Krishna, he's my enemy. Anyone who tries to remind me of Krishna, they're my enemy. And everything black is bad. Because black people are very bad. Black people are very unreliable. And everything black is bad. And Lalita said, Radhe, your hair is black. And Radharani said, I'll take sandalwood paste and I'll smear it on my hair. Radharani, your eyes are blackish. She said, I won't look in the mirror anymore. You take my bluish sari, get rid of it. Now I'm going to wear a golden colored sari. I won't wear this bluish sari anymore. And the gopis said, Radhe, what about every day you go to the Jamuna to fetch water and that Jamuna is blackish, like Krishna? And Radharani said, henceforth, I'm not going to go to the Jamuna. Radharani, what about the nighttime? The nighttime is also black. I won't go out after dark anymore because everything black is bad. And all my picture frames that I have, I want you to smear white color on them. And my blackish, bluish bangles that I have, Srimati Radharani, she broke them. And she gave them to the gopis. Srimati Radharani had a small tamal tree that she planted herself with her own hands. Tamal tree is a blackish tree. And Srimati Radharani uprooted that tree. And she told the Sakhis, you throw this tree away. And they said, Sakhi, what about your bird cage? Your bird cage is also blackish color. And Radharani, she broke that cage. She said, get the cage away. And she let the birds go. Henceforth, everything black is bad. And I don't want to see anything black. Everything black is bad, and black people are very bad. They're very, very unreliable persons. And so, seeing this situation, Krishna, he became very, very disturbed. What am I going to do? How can I appease the anger of Srimati Radharani? What can I do? And so Krishna went to the bank of the Jamuna, and he began rolling in the sand there. And at that time, Purnamasi, she sent Brinda Devi. And Brinda Devi came, and Krishna confided in her, I don't know what to do. Now Srimati Radharani has become Bhamya Bhava Siromani, the crest jewel of angry ladies. And she won't let me in the kunj. What can I do? I can't see her. How can I appease her anger? And Brinda Devi said, this is a very serious thing. She said that you're going to have to do something very serious about this. You should become a Napati. You should become a beautician, a lady beautician. And so Krishna said, well, if that'll work, sure, yes. So then they dressed Krishna up as a young lady. And they tied his hair up on his head, and they put a sari on him, and a couple of well-placed mangoes. And they dressed Krishna up in such a nice way. And then Krishna was standing on the road to Javat, where Srimati Radharani was going. And when Radharani and the Sakhis, they saw him, Radharani asked, who are you? And he said, oh, I'm coming from Mathura, and I've come here because I've heard about a wonderful lady named Radharani, and I've come here to render some service. What can you do? Oh, I'm a very, very expert beautician. And I'm very good at painting someone's feet and their toenails. Okay, go ahead. You can take care of our Sakhi. And then Krishna very carefully began to clean the toenails of Srimati Radharani. And then Krishna began to paint Radharani's feet red. And as he was painting Radharani's feet red, Krishna was thinking, I wish I could be on Radharani's feet. And then Krishna had a thought. Oh, my devotee Narad Muni, he's said many times that Abhinatva Namanamino, that I'm non-different from my name. Krishna thought, yes. So Krishna started writing his own name on Radharani's foot. And then seeing his name there on Radharani's foot, Krishna thought to himself, it's not true. Narad Muni said that I'm non-different from my name, but it's not true. My name is more fortunate than I am. My name is superior to me. And suddenly Srimati Radharani noticed, hey, what are you doing? What is that you're writing on my foot? Huh? Get out of here. And she drove him away. And in this way, Krishna several times, he came in different ways trying to appease the anger of Radharani by dressing up in different ways. And nothing worked. Until finally Krishna went back to Brinda Devi. He said, I've tried everything. What can I do? And Brinda Devi said, okay, this is very serious. If you want to appease the anger of Srimati Radharani, you're going to have to give up that flute. And you're going to have to give up the peacock feather. You're going to have to give up your beautiful hair. You're going to have to shave your head. And you're going to have to wear saffron cloth. You're going to have to become a sannyasi beggar if you want to try to appease the anger of Srimati Radharani. And the poet Chandan Das describes that Brinda Devi told him that to take sannyas, you have to go to Kailash and you approach Lord Bholanath, Mahadev Shiva, and take sannyas from him. And so in Kailash, Krishna called out, oh Mahadev, Mahadev, where are you? Where are you? Please, my heart is crying for Radharani. And when the husband of Durga Devi heard those words, he came up and understanding it was Krishna, Mahadev Shivji became very surprised. Krishna spoke to him. He said, oh, holder of the trident, Mahadev Shivji, please give me sannyas. Please give me this renunciation. And Lord Shiva, he said, what is this? You're Brahmanda Nayaka. You're the hero of the entire universe. How can you give up your peacock feather? How can you shave your head? How can you do these things? And Krishna said, don't cheat me, please. I want to become a sannyasi. And so then Krishna gave up his hair. And he gave up his pitambara dhoti, his yellow dhoti, and his peacock feather. He gave it up. He gave up his flute. And he dressed as a sannyasi beggar. And then Lord Shiva taught him a song. Mana mohi radhe man bhikari, thoma lagi hoye gambari dari. Jamarapurabha kshama manadana dana nibha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Mana mohi radha, mana bikari, toma lagi hoila dhambara dari. Oh mana mohi radha, oh angry Radharani. Now I'm a beggar of your man. I'm a beggar of your sulkiness. I become a sannyasi. And I'm coming to beg you for your sulky anger. And so the poet Chandan Das describes that Krishna, he came to Vrindavan and he went to the house of Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda. And he knocked on the door. Mother Yashoda came to the door and she saw the most beautiful boy who was a sannyasi. And that little boy was holding out his cloth, and he said in Sanskrit, Bo Mata, Bhagavati Bhiksham Dehi. Oh Mata, please give me some alms. And Mother Yashoda, she said, what is this? How are you a sannyasi? Your parents must be crying. You should be friends with my Gopal. My Gopal would like you very much. And at that time, Krishna expanded himself. And he came running from the other room in his form of Nandanandan Krishna, Gopal Krishna. And he jumped onto his mother's lap. And Mother Yashoda said, here's this nice sannyasi. The two of you should sit down together and have some nice cream. And she invited the sannyasi, you should stay. And that sannyasi said, no, I'm a sannyasi Thakur. I can't stay in one place. I go here and I go there. And so then he left and he began singing another song. Kali Juga Avatar Goranga Rupare Tumari Guna Gaibe Nagare Nagare Bolo Hare Krishna. Abhishila Yavatari Bolya Shiva Shiva Shri Chandana Charandula Kabiba Pariba Bolo Hare Krishna. He began to sing this song for Srimati Radharani. And he said, Kali Yuga Avatara Gauranga Rupare. That in Kali Yuga, I'm going to take the form of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Tomari Guna Gaibi Nagare Nagare. And I'll go from place to place. And by doing kirtan in your mood, I'll glorify you. We spoke something about that yesterday. Praveshila Yavatari Bolya Shiva Shiva Shri Chandana Charana Dula Kabi Bapaiba. And this way, that sannyasi Thakur, he proceeded toward the village of Javat. And the poet Chandandas, Sri Chandana Charana Tula Kaibi Paiba. The poet Chandandas, he's thinking to himself, when am I going to get the dust of Radharani's feet? And so as Krishna was coming closer to the Kunj of Srimati Radharani, he began to sing another song, which was taught to him by Brinda Devi. Srimati Radhe Guru Abhimani Amya Bhava Shiromani Shamasari Yange Achadana Tava Tapta Kanchana Vayana. He began to pray, singing this song, O Srimati Radharani, Bodo Abhimani, you're a very, very angry personality. Bhamya Bhava Shiromani, you're the crest jewel of the leftist gopis. You have this very sulky mood. Your whole body is covered with a blue sari, and your bodily hue is like that of molten gold, tapta kanchana gaurangi. Until now, you've been mad after Kanu Prem, love for Krishna. In every aspect of you've stolen the heart of Krishna. But today, he sings it. Aji Radha Prema Bhiksha Magi Kanu Firi Dvari Dvari Hoy. Aji means now. Now Kanu, Krishna, he's become a bhikshu, bhikshu magi. He's become a beggar of Radharani's love. And he's going from door to door in this way. So this is the secret of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's sannyas lila. This is the internal purpose of it. The sannyas means to become a beggar of prem. And this is why my revered spiritual master, Gaur Govinda Maharaj, in 1973, he was a householder. His father passed away when he was maybe 17. And there was no one to take care of the family. He didn't want to marry, actually. He was very attracted just to worship Gopal and do kirtan for his whole life. But there was no one to take care of his mother and the family. So on his mother's order, he married, and he decided to become a school teacher because it's a good, honest occupation. And so he taught for some years, and he had a family, but this desire was always in his heart. When can I leave everything and give my life completely to Krishna? When can I become a beggar of prem, like Krishna became a beggar of prem? And when can I give that prem to others? So he was praying like that, and in 1974, finally he went to school, and he spoke to the headmaster of the school, and he told him that tomorrow I'm going to take my family to the Himalayas for some retreat. You please give me permission. And then he went home, and he packed his things. He didn't say anything to anyone, and he left. And he began traveling and looking for his guru. And finally, after going, he said, from Cape Comorin, the southern tip of India, to the Himalayan mountains, and meeting so many different yogis and different people, he decided, I'll go to Vrindavan. And he came to Vrindavan, and he said he went to many different ashrams and places, but he saw many sadhus, but nobody satisfied his heart. And then one day, he was in a place called Ramanreti. And he saw a strange thing that he'd never seen before. He saw some men wearing dhotis and ladies wearing saris. That's not a strange thing. He grew up with men wearing dhotis and ladies wearing saris. But what was strange was they were white-skinned people who were wearing dhotis and saris. And he'd never seen anything like that before. And so he approached those devotees, and one of them gave him a magazine. This is called Back to Godhead. At that time, Gorgovinda Maharaj had told us he was looking for three things in a guru. Someone who could teach him about the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, someone who could teach him about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and someone who could teach him about Srimad Bhagavatam. And up until that point, he hadn't found anyone who would teach all three of those things. So they gave him this magazine. He opened it up, and he saw the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Oh, and there's a picture of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And there's a section in the back about Srimad Bhagavatam. So he asked the devotees, is your Guru Maharaj here? Yes, he's present here. And so he went to Brahmananda Swami, who was Prabhupada's servant at that time, secretary. And he asked him, I'd like to meet your Guru. And Brahmananda went in to see Srila Prabhupada. And he told Prabhupada, there's some sadhu who's here and wants to see you. Guru Maharaj was dressed like a renunciate at that time. And he came in to see Srila Prabhupada, and he told us that Prabhupada's first words to him, right away, Prabhupada asked him, have you taken sannyas? And Gorgovinda Maharaj said, no. And Prabhupada said, I'll give you sannyas. And Gorgovinda Maharaj, then he said, I realize this is my guru, because he knows my heart. And it wasn't that he wanted to take some official institutional position, but he wanted the one-pointed focus of sannyas. He wanted to become a beggar of prem, as Krishna had become. So Krishna, he arrived at the gate of Srimati Radharani's kunj, and Lalita and Vishaka, they saw this wonderful sannyasi, and they heard this song. They said, where did you learn this nice song? And that sannyasi Thakur, he said, I have a guru, and I learned the song from her. What's the name of your guru? Oh, Gandharvika. Gandharvika is also a name for Radharani. And they asked that sannyasi, what do you want? Why did you come here? He said, I'm a sannyasi beggar. I don't want anything from the material world. I'm a prema bhikkhari. I'm a beggar of prem. And all that I want is love, divine love. In Vishaka, she said, that's okay, Sannyasi Thakur, but our Saki is in a very distressed condition. She's dying. She's very ill-fated. Sannyasi Thakur, do you know the art of reading lines on the hand and telling someone's fortune? Yes, I know how to do that. Who taught you to do that? Oh, my guru taught me this thing. So then Vishaka said, Sannyasi, can you come in the kunj and calculate the fortune of our Pranasaki? If you do that, then you'll get her blessings. And that Sannyasi Thakur, he said, yes, I'll do that, because I know that your Saki can give me this prema dana, this wealth of prem, And I'm very eager for that. That's what I want. And so they brought him to the Kunj, and Lalita entered into the inner chamber where Radharani was staying, and she reported that there was a wonderful sannyasi Thakur who'd come. And in the meantime, Vishaka requested, hey, sannyasi Thakur, will you sing that song again? Huh? Such a nice song. And so then he again began singing that song. Radha Prema Bhiksha Magi Kanu Feri Dwari Dwari Hoy. How Kanu has become, Krishna has become a bhiksha, a beggar of Radharani's praying, going from door to door. And when he sang that song, the lines of that song entered the ears of Srimati Radharani. And when Srimati Radharani heard that, immediately some words came from her mouth. And what did she say? Asli Sava Padaratam Panastumam Adarshanam Hatam Karotuva Yata Tata Vabadadatu Lampato Mat Prana Natas Tusaiva Napraha. Spontaneously, when she heard that song, she said this last verse of Shikshashtakam, which is composed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri. Srimati Radharani said, let that debauchee, that lampata, do whatever he likes. He can embrace me, or he can kick me. He can put me in the fire of separation. He can go with some other woman if he wants. He's a debauchee. But prananatas tu saeva napraha. No matter what, he's always my prananath, the Lord of my heart, and no one else. So Lalita consoled her. She said, hey Pranasaki, this very nice sannyasi Thakur has come, and he's sarvagya, he knows everything. He's very expert. He'll calculate your fortune. And whether you can meet your Pranavallabha Krishna again soon. So then they arranged for 2 seats on the veranda of Radharani's Kunj. And Lalita requested that sannyasi Thakur to sit there. And then Radharani came out from the inner chamber. But when Radharani came out, she was wearing her cloth over her head like this. I don't know if Guru Maharaj did like that when he told you, did he do that? I saw him do this several. He loves doing that. Because Srimati Radharani, she won't look at the face of any man. She'll only look at the face of Krishna. So Lalita made her sit down in front of that sannyasi Thakur. And then Lalita took Radharani's left hand to show to the sannyasi Thakur and said, please, calculate the fortune of our Pranasaki. And that sannyasi Thakur said, what is this? I'm a sannyasi Thakur. I don't touch women. I can't touch her hand. If you want me to calculate her fortune, then I have to look at the lines on her forehead. I have to see her face. Otherwise, I can't do it. And Vishaka said, but Sannyasi Thakur, our Saki, she doesn't look at the face of any man, any male in the world. She's very strict. And that sannyasi said, Hari Baba, I'm a Danda sannyasi. I've given up everything. I'm just a beggar of love, a prema bhikkhari. Why should your Saki be ashamed to remove her veil in front of me, this Danda sannyasi? And so then Lalita, she took that cloth off the face of Srimati Radharani. And as soon as Srimati Radharani's face came there, then that form of that sannyasi Thakur disappeared. And that Shama Tribhanga Lalita, Krishna's beautiful form with the flute, appeared. Because Vrindavan Das Thakur, he describes it, Jai Rupa Chinte Dasi Se Rupa Hoy. According to the mood of the devotee, the Lord manifests a corresponding form. And Srimati Radharani just wants to see Vrindavan Bihari, Sham Sundar, Dvibhuj Murlidhar, Krishna playing a flute in Vrindavan. She doesn't want to see him as a sannyasi. And so there was Krishna with his flute and his peacock feather and his yellow garments. And then there was eye-to-eye union. And Srimati Radharani's sulkiness disappeared. There's another similar song to this, which is sung by the poet Govinda Das, also speaking about how Krishna took sannyas. There's a number of songs like this. And in that particular song is a little different twist. It said that Krishna went to Javat, where Srimati Radharani was staying in the house of Jatila. And Krishna went there as a sannyasi beggar. And he knocked on the door, and Jatila, that old lady, that old mother-in-law of Srimati Radharani, came out and said, "What do you want?" "Oh, I'm a sannyasi Thakur. I've come to beg some alms." "Okay, I'll give you something." No. I won't take anything from you. I've heard that the crest jewel of chaste ladies is here, named Radharani. I'll only accept something from her. And Jatila said, "My daughter-in-law? Chaste?" Because Jatila is always chastising Radharani. "Why are you going with Krishna?" So anyway, so she called for Radharani and said, "There's a nice sannyasi here, and he's come to beg something, so you should be very good for our family, very pious for us. You should take a nice golden tray with a pot of ghee and some flour and some rice and some vegetables and a few things and some spices, and give those to that sannyasi Thakur." And so Radharani came out in a very shy way. And she said, "My dear sannyasi, here, I have something for you." And Krishna is a sannyasi beggar. He said, "Before you give me something, you have to make a promise to me." And Radharani said, "What is it that you want?" He said, "First of all, you promise that you'll give me what I want." "Okay, I'll give you whatever you want." And Krishna told her then, he said, "All that I want is your man. All that I want is your loving sulkiness, because I'm actually Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj." And he spoke like that. And Srimati Radharani took that tray with the ghee and rice and things, and she dumped it on Krishna's head. And then her heart melted. And again, there was union with Radha and Krishna. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he's described that when Ramananda Roy saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he told Mahaprabhu, "Pahile dekhilun toma sannyasi swarup, ebi toma deki mur shyama gopa roop, bole Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna." At first I saw you like a sannyasi, but now ebi means now, ebi toma deki, now I see mui shama gopa roop. I see you as a cowherd boy, as Sham Sundar Krishna. Tomara samuke deki kanchana panchalika, tanra gora kanche tomar sarva anga daka bolo Hare Krishna. At first I saw you like you were a golden doll, and your entire body appeared to be covered with a golden luster. Tahate prakata dekon savangsi vadan nanabare chanchalata he kamala noyanele Hare Krishna. See, but now I see you have a flute put to your lips, and your eyes are moving in a very restless way, to and fro. Now I see you become Krishna. And so this is the inner mood of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that inner mood, just as some inner mood that we have affects our outer appearance. If your wife yells at you, then you become very disturbed. And you look very unhappy. You go to work and your friends say, "What happened to you?" Oh, you can see something on the outside from what's on the inside. So we should understand what's on the inside of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's heart. And he's come in the mood of Radharani. Srimati Radharani is Krishna's Karuna Shakti. He has Parasya Shakti Vividaya Vashrugita. He has many Shaktis. But this Karuna Shakti is usually hidden away, we were mentioning yesterday. In one commentary on the Ramayana by Manavala Muni, an acharya in the line of Ramanuja. He raises an interesting question. He says, why is it that when Lord Ramachandra killed Ravan, Sita wasn't there? Sita is coming from a Kshatriya family. And those Kshatriya ladies, they're very, very tough. Certainly she would want to be there when Ramachandra avenges her honor and kills Ravan, isn't it? But Manavala Muni says, no, Sita couldn't be there. Because if Sita was there, Sita is a Karuna Shakti. She's an expansion of Radharani. And she would have stopped him. No, 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 don't do it. Show mercy to him. And so Lord Ramachandra kept her away. He kept her hidden. Similarly, in Dwapara Yuga, who knew about Srimati Radharani? She was kept hidden. But in Kali Yuga, everyone has learned about Srimati Radharani because of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And because Mahaprabhu is Radha Bhava Dyuti Suvalitam Nomi Krishna Sarupam. His mood, his inner mood, is the mood of Srimati Radharani. And because of that Icha Shakti, Krishna's desire potency, which usually controls the Karuna Shakti, the mercy potency, now the Karuna Shakti is free to do whatever it wants. And so Krishna has become Mahavadanyaya. Mahavadanyaya avatar. He's become the most munificent kind because Krishna prema pradayate. He's freely giving Krishna prema. And he's giving this mantra, this Hare Krishna mantra. This Hare Krishna mantra we were mentioning yesterday is there in Radha Tantra. It's described as Srimati Radharani is chanting this Hare Krishna mantra when she's feeling separation from Krishna. That Hare Krishna mantra, as we were saying a few days ago, it's there in every Kali Yuga. But this Kali Yuga, that Maha mantra is something different. In every Kali Yuga, people do Nam Sankirtan. But in this Kali Yuga, it's not just Nam Sankirtan. It's Prema Nam Sankirtan. Because that Karuna Shakti is no longer controlled by the Icha Shakti. Now he's in the mood of Radharani. And he's giving the most amazing thing. And therefore, there's a nice song which some people sing in Orissa. They sing about this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. I'd like to teach it to you. It's a very simple song. Okay, can you repeat after me? Okay, very simple song. Rama, Nama, Rama Nama, Ladua, Rama Nama Ladua, Krishna, Nama, Krishna Nama, Gi, Krishna Nama Gi, okay. Rama Nama Ladua, Krishna Nama Gi, very good. Hari, Nama, Hari Nama, Kandakira, Harinama Kandakira, Gori Gori, Pi, Gori Gori Pi, Harinama Kandakira, Gori Gori Pi. This song actually, I think, is in Hindi, and it has a very nice meaning. That the name of Lord Ram is like a ladu. Rama Nama Ladu. So you take the Rama Nama Ladua and you add the Krishna Nama Ghee, the name of Krishna, which is like nice clarified butter. And then you add the Hari Nama Kandakira, the name of Lord Hari, which is like Kandakira sweet rice. And Gori Gori. You mix it all up and pee. You drink it. Huh? Can we sing that? Rama Nama Ladua, Krishna Nama Ghee Bole. Rama Nama Ladua, Krishna Nama Ghee. Rama Nama Ladua, Krishna Nama Ghee. Rama Nama Ladua, Krishna Nama Ghee. Hari Nama Kandakira Gori Gori Pi. Hari Nama Kandakira Gori Gori Pi. Hari Nama Kandakira Gori Gori Pi. Hari Nama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. So thank you very much for coming on a little journey with me to this amazing place, this place of the heart of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and trying to walk with me in this katha, and trying to understand something about the greed of the Lord, and how the Lord has this greed and why he comes as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Thank you all very much. Srila Prabhupada ki, Samaveda Bhakta Binda ki, Vanchakalpadarubhischa, Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Can we have any reflections? It's nice for me. I like to hear reflections. It lets me know that somebody stayed awake, managed to. If anybody has any thoughts, something you liked or struck you, before questions.
I want to ask one thing. You started always with Uttama Adama, and then the next sloka that
Uttama Adama Kichana Bachi Rajachi Adelika Ko Kahe Prema. Yeah. The Uttama Adama Kichuna Bachi Rajachi Adelika Ko. That Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he doesn't consider who's Uttam, who's Adam, who's qualified, who's an unqualified candidate. He just gives Krishna Prem to everyone, indiscriminately. Kahi Premananda Emona Gauranga Hridaya Dhariyabol. May that Gauranga reside in your heart. Bhaja Gauranga, Kaha Gauranga, Laha Gauranga Namare. We should call out the name of Gauranga. Meditate on Gauranga. Jai Jana Gauranga Bhaji Sehoy Amara Pranare. Amara Pranare. That personality who worships Gauranga Mahaprabhu, especially worshipping Gauranga Mahaprabhu, as we said, means Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself says, Jadi Ama Prati Sneha Taki Sabakar Tabi Krishna Vyati Riktanagai they are. He says that if you love me, you love my instruction. Don't chant my name, chant Krishna's name. Because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in the mood of Radharani. He's not come to be worshipped himself, just as Radharani. You can worship Radharani, that's okay. I've heard a story that, I don't know how true or not it is, but it's a story I've heard that some disciples of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta once approached him at Radhakund, and they told him that, Guru Maharaj, you have one disciple here at Radhakund, and he's become very, very advanced. So advanced that he stopped chanting Krishna's name. And now all he's chanting is Radhe, 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 Radhe. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said, well, that's very good. Do you know what will happen if you chant the name of Radha? And he quoted this verse from Brahma Vivarta Purana. Rasadot charanadeva spitto bhavati madhava. As soon as you recite the first syllable Ra, then Krishna becomes ecstatic. Spitto bhavati madhava. And then when you recite the second syllable Da, Radha, Dasadot charatat paschat davat yeva sasambrama. Krishna comes running after that person who chants the name of Radha. He says, so elevated is that chanting of the name of Radha. He said, but we have a better program. We chant the name of Krishna. And when we chant the name of Krishna, who comes running? Radharani comes running. And that, therefore, Srimati Radharani is at Karuna Shakti. And we want to please her by pleasing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through the service, through the medium of our Gurudev, through our disciplic succession. We render this service of doing this kirtan, the kirtan of our sampradaya, the chanting of Hare Krishna. And so, Jai Jana Gauranga Bhaji, say hoy amara pranare. That person who does this Gauranga Bhajan, doing the bhajan that Mahaprabhu is doing, say hoy amara pranare. That person's my life and soul, is my everything. That's the meaning of it. Does anybody have any reflections or anything? Prabhuji, some thoughts or something?
I like how you compared art to bhakti. I've never heard. I like art. So
Yeah. You're a mad artist, I can see that. Actually, there's two reasons why we do that. One is to introduce outside people to bhakti, because a lot of people are enamored by art. But the other reason is to introduce the devotees to art and show them that real bhakti, we have 64 arts, and that bhakti is an art. It's meant to be performed as an art. It's not just a ritual or different external ceremonies and things that we do. It's very important. Thank you, Prabhu. Anybody else, something you liked, something you remember, something reminds you of something else? Okay. Are any questions, anybody? Or Maharaj, would you like to add anything?
I have a question.
Hare Krishna.
But I'm not looking for a very, doesn't need to be detailed answer. And I realized that it wasn't the theme of your presentation. I hope it doesn't digress. But yesterday you spoke about Pravas.
About?
Pravas.
Prahlad.
Pravas.
Prabhas, I'm sorry.
Yes.
My hearing's a little bad.
And today you spoke about Man. And we know that there are 4 types of separation. There's Man, from kinship Pravas, there's Premvaicitya, and there's Purvara. I was wondering, I missed the first day, did you discuss Purvara at all?
Yes. Yeah, pretty elaborately. Somewhat. We discussed how, for those of you who weren't here, how Purvarag, there's 4 types of separation. And we gave the example you're familiar with, no doubt, of how, in Vaidagda Madhav, how Radharani, one day she decided she wanted to commit suicide. Oh my God. And all of her Sakhis were horrified. And Radharani said, how can I continue to live? I'm in love with 3 different men. How can I live? And he said, what is this? Yeah, I'm in love with the son of Nanda Maharaj, Krishna. And I'm also in love with that fellow, that cheeky little boy, that Chitra Sakhi made a picture of. That picture is an amazing picture. Sometimes that little boy in the picture, he winks at me. and he makes little gestures and things. I fall in love with that boy in that picture. And I fall in love with the third boy who plays a flute. How can I continue to live? So Radharani hasn't met Krishna yet. Lalita tells her, it's okay, it's okay. Those three different boys are the same boy. So she's feeling separation even before they meet. And similarly in Vidagdha Madhav, Rupa Goswami speaks about how Radharani once made a garland. We told the story of champak flowers. And it's said in India that champak varni radha, that the color of the champak flower is like Radha. Radharani made this garland. She sent it through the hand of one of her pranasakis, who in turn gave it to Madhumangal. And Madhumangal came and put it on the chest of Krishna. And when that garland was put on his chest, Krishna became stunned in ecstasy. He thought, this garland, it reminds me of Radharani. He hasn't met Radharani yet. Maybe he's seen her a few times, but they haven't talked or anything. This is Purvarag. And he's thinking to himself that just as this garland is decorating my chest, I wish that the daughter of Maharaj Vrishabhanu would also decorate my chest. These are feelings of separation known as Purvarag. And we also spoke about Prema Vaichitya and Man and Prabhas a little more elaborately. Okay, anything else? Prabhuji has something?
You spoke yesterday about your Guru Maharaj quoting that one should learn Sanskrit to, don't say that I'm your Guru Maharaj unless you know Sanskrit. So.
Well, he said, unless you can quote Shastra.
Shastra.
There's a big difference between being able to quote Shastra like a parrot, mechanically like I do, and someone who actually knows Sanskrit, Vyakarana, grammar, and so many things. But anyway.
So on. So how can we, I guess if we haven't known Shastra fully yet and we want to preach or we don't feel qualified to preach, what's the steps to becoming qualified to preach, or if we're feeling we're not on that level yet?
Well, sometimes in the early days, it's just like when we do book distribution. The devotees, when I first went out to distribute Srila Prabhupada's books, I didn't know what to say. And someone said, well, you just try to stop and say, excuse me, sir, are you from here, are you from out of town, here? We're handing these out to everyone. And we had a line. And that was like a crutch, which helped me to move that line. But later on, sometimes you become so spontaneous sometimes with book distribution. You see someone, yeah, it's you. Come here. I've got it for you. And you just hand it to them. You may say some outrageous thing. Sometimes we walk up to someone and say, I know you're a school teacher from Albuquerque, aren't you? And just, oh my God, how did you know I'm a school teacher from Albuquerque? And sometimes devotees have that kind of potency, the book distributors. They would just see, Krishna would inspire them. And they didn't use a line. So we should learn Shastra. And we should quote Shastra. And there's different reasons we do that. We should quote Shastra not because I want to use Shastra to beat other people up with or to show how great I am, but I should quote Shastra for my sake, for my purification. And the second reason I should quote Shastra is for the service of Srila Prabhupada in our movement. I'll give you one little example. Many years ago, the devotees, they translated Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita into Bengali. And they decided not to put the Mula Shlokas, the Sanskrit Shlokas, but just the translation. And they called the book Bhagavad Gita. And the pundits there in West Bengal, they protested. And they said, this book is not Bhagavad Gita. This may be a book about Bhagavad Gita. This may be a book which is like a reflection of Bhagavad Gita. But Bhagavad Gita begins Dhritarashtra Vacha Dharma Cheti Kuru Cheta Samaveda Yutsavaha Mamaka Pandavaschaiva Kimukurvata Sanjaya. Bhagavad Gita is spoken in Sanskrit. This is not Bhagavad Gita. Krishna never ever said, abandon all varieties of religion and surrender to me. He never said that. But what he did say is, Sarva Dharmam Parityagya Mamekam Sharanam Braja. We should learn Sanskrit to that extent, at least learn some verses and things. Why? To help uphold the prestige of Prabhupada's mission. Because things are different now than they were in the late 60s and the early 70s when many devotees joined. And we were the only show on the block, and there were no other Vaishnavas. Now there's many Vaishnavas. And people are looking at Prabhupada's society. And they're looking, how high class are they when they speak Krishna Katha? Can they quote Shastra? It's a reflection on Srila Prabhupada. It's a reflection on our society. And also we quote verses because we want to teach the devotees that we should quote authority. It's not just my speculation. Why do we have Krishna Katha? What is the meaning of Krishna Katha? Why in the world would I want to sit here in front of Niranjan Maharaj, in front of Guru Prasad Prabhu, in front of Lakshminath Prabhu, and so many senior devotees, and act like I'm doing... It's crazy. Why would I want to do that? Why would any Vaishnava want to do that? I'm not a Vaishnava, but I'm aspiring to be a Vaishnava. Why would a Vaishnava want to do that? They do that out of service. And we give the analogy that just like someone may ask you some year, you're in Mayapur, Gaur Purnima, and someone comes and says, Prabhuji, why don't you do the Artik tomorrow morning for Radha Madhav? Wow, yeah. Okay, so you come out in the morning to blow the conch, you open the door, and you see there's 10,000 devotees there. Wow, and you start to blow the conch and you think, everybody's here to see me. If you think like that, in Hindi we would say you're a badmash. You're a rascal. You're a complete nonsense. People are not there to see you. And similarly, people are not here to listen to me. We shouldn't think like that. Rather, the speaker is like a pujari. What does a pujari do? He doesn't speculate. He offers incense and he does it on the order of his guru. I'm not qualified to do this, but my Gurudev should be doing. And so similarly, when we're asked to speak Harikatha, we do it as a service. This is my service for Niranjan Maharaj. And it's one thing, you can quote some slokas and tell some jokes and entertain people in a way, but it's not the same thing as those devotees like Lakshminath Prabhu and others who have gone out of the streets for so many, many years and done many austerities and services for Srila Prabhupada. It's one thing to memorize something, and that's nice, we should do that. But we should always remember and appreciate the service of those devotees. So we may come and do something, we're doing it as a service for their pleasure. But it doesn't mean we're a big person, we're just a flunky who's doing something on behalf of somebody else. But our qualification is we repeat what we've heard from our guru and the previous acharyas, and we don't speculate. We don't think it belongs to us. My Guru Maharaj gave me that exact instruction on one occasion. So this we should think about. And for this reason we should learn verses. It's very, very purifying. One of the activities that are enjoying in Shastra, especially for brahmacharis, but for everyone, is Shastra Swadhyaya. And sometimes people translate that as reading, but it's not exactly the same as reading. It means recitation. That every day we should recite Shastra. And for ahoitaki, for no motivation, just for the sake of reciting Shastra, is such a wonderful thing. And you do that every day, your consciousness becomes purified. Maybe you'll remember verses, maybe you won't. Doesn't matter. But we just recite those verses because it's so purifying to recite them. And if you keep reciting them, you'll memorize them. You'll learn some verses, and then we can use those as a service for Srila Prabhupada and for our Guru Janas, just like the Pujari offers authorized articles. The incense, the ghee lamp, he doesn't speculate. One year in Vrindavan, there was a wealthy man who came from Delhi, this is a true story, came from Delhi with an unusual request. He went to the temple of Banka Bihari, and he offered the Pujari a large donation if the Pujari would dress Banka Bihari in a special dress. That Pujari, being greedy for money, agreed to do it. And what was that dress? He said, no dhoti, but Levi's jeans. And no flute, no vangsi, but you give him a cell phone instead. And so they dressed Krishna like that in Vrindavan. And that day in Vrindavan, when the residents of Vrindavan found out what had been done, everyone became furious. And all the shops closed, and they started burning tires in the middle of the road. They did in India they call a bun. It's the favorite thing of everybody in India to do. Whenever there's a problem, they do a bun. Am I right? So they did a bun. They closed the whole city down. Because what is this nonsense? How dare you dress Banka Bihari in such a speculative nonsense way? So the same thing is said. I could come here and I could tell you romantic stories how I met my wife and about my childhood and how but that would be an offense to my Guru Maharaj, to Naranjan Maharaj, and to all the Vaishnavas. It would be an offense to this seat. We're sitting here to do a service for the Vaishnavas, so we should think like that. And a service for the Vaishnavas, to the best of our ability, we should try to quote verses. You want to add anything to that, Maharaj? You know so many verses, you have such a taste for it. I'm always marveling. Hare Krishna. My Guru Maharaj was very pointed about that. Not meaning that everybody has to do that, and if somebody's giving a class, well, I'm not going to listen to them if they don't quote verses. They may be a very realized person, they may not. My Guru Maharaj was coming from a Gaudiya Vaishnava family from birth in Orissa, and he had that certain mood.
Just like a lawyer in court.
Yeah.
He used that example. Said when a lawyer in court wants to hold up his case and make it accepted, to make it the strongest case that can be accepted by the judge, by the jury, he always cites decisions from previous court cases as his evidence to establish his argument. Prabhupada says the same thing that we should do, presenting our case before the jury, before the court, before the judges. We want to present the conclusions of previous courts, the Shastras, the conclusions of previous courts. It's accepted as supreme, especially before judges.
Sometimes devotees, they say, but who knows Sanskrit? How many? Raise your hand. How many of you here know Sanskrit? Maybe one or two? There's a couple of devotees who know some Sanskrit. Little. Huh? Okay, so then why should we quote Sanskrit? But Srila Prabhupada sometimes, we were speaking about this time in Balboa Park in San Diego. Prabhupada came before a group of hippies, and a big group of hippies there, and Prabhupada was speaking something, and there was one hippie in the background started shouting something. Prabhupada couldn't hear him. And he turned to Bhaktadas, his disciple, as the president there, and asked Bhaktadas, what's he saying? Bhaktadas said, Prabhupada, he's yelling, we want sex, we want sex. So Prabhupada changed the whole course of his talk and started quoting verses, Sanskrit verses from the 5th canto, the Bhagavatam. These hippies. Sorry, Maharaj? Pumsastriya Maitani Bhavamitam. Like the heaviest verses about sex life. Sanskrit verses of this group of hippies who were like, they didn't know Sanskrit. They're practically not even conscious. They're all on drugs, And Prabhupada's quoting all these heavy, heavy verses to them. But present in that assembly was one hippie who later was my Sankirtan leader. His name was Satyasena Prabhu, and he became a devotee because of that lecture by Srila Prabhupada. The Sanskrit verses are very important and very powerful. Okay, anything else from anybody? All right, so thank you all very much. Maharaj, can we have some kirtan? Okay.